all live, and perhaps um, the last live, it comes with a code, so you need to decode it. So perhaps this is going to be an exercise for everyone, and I think this one is not to decode anything, but yes, coding is always on in the online world. Um, that being said, happy Engineers Day to all the engineers. Um, I mean, even people do diploma, they call themselves engineers. So I don't know how to even talk about what an engineer is all about. Uh, However, for me, when I started off with working in the KPO unit, so KPO is basically the full form of KPO is supposed to be um, knowledge process outsourcing, and perhaps I was working under the KPO unit, and our patent attorney at that point of time, he was he was a wonderful person. He is a wonderful person. Um, haven't contacted him in years right now, but he was very expressive, very well equipped to make us understand what the innovation world looks like. And my title at that point of time was patent engineer. So obviously, I became patent agent first, then worked in a law firm culture, one of the biggest, earliest law firm in India, working in intellectual property rights, and then as a patent engineer, and then never looked back. And now an inventor for generative technologies, and yeah, it's going good. So happy Ingenious Day to everyone. If you look into the previous upload, that is more to do with the coding stuff. If you're able to decode, good enough. If you're not able to decode, better, because then it becomes as a trade secret. But we have tried to provide codes in a manner whereby a good engineer who has the engineering bent of mind is able to look into the codes and code their code, because the understanding of anything and everything has been tossed to the level whereby the understanding is not even zero or infinity, but an ingenious bent of mind who is able to look in all directions, who is able to upskill, would be able to understand that we live in a world where codes are going to play a very pivotal role, and it is always important to be a good coder. And having an engineering bent of mind, one should be able to upskill themselves not only in particular engineering field, because so I'm talking from my experience right now. I'm not representing any of the organizations I work with in any capacity. It is just uh, an observation over the years, and perhaps this recording is for the purpose whereby people can take something from it and upskill themselves. This is a very exciting time. Maybe people think, or folks are thinking, there are no jobs. There are no jobs because whatever they studied is of no use. So it is not the onus of the founder or the entrepreneur or the business enterprises to train these people. The onus is on the education society, because um, creativity per se is not being developed at a minuscule level, because once the creativity is developed at a minuscule level, you would be able to channelize your energy in a direction where you will see, oh my gosh, so much is available right now just at a click. I mean, I remember coding on Joomla and everything from scratch. Now everything is like, just drag and drop. Work is so easy. It's just that you need to have that mindset to work, and you have to work. This is the motto or the aim of the enterprises or the business entities, that if people don't work, you cannot get the output. And let me tell you, machines have already overtaken the world in terms of, if somebody wants to understand the matrix. Few of the fields are still not touched upon, because still a lot of training needs to be done to the modules. And when you talk about the modules, it is very important that you are able to work upon the stuff and always working on upscaling yourself in terms of the skill set. And we have our office in our city, and like right now we have a play card outside where it states that it's ingenious day, and it states that it's a very noble profession. And obviously engineering itself is a noble profession because an ingenious bent of mind is able to, or most of the engineers, I don't know how much engineering people have studied in their when they were supposed to study. It's just that if you are not very good with your subjects, it's a little bit tough, but it's always good to go back to the drawing board and start from scratch, looking into the aspects as to what needs to be done when you're trying to solve a problem. If I have to give a problem statement right now to the world, that would be plastic pollution. Plastic pollution has reached to a level whereby the only, or I would rather say I have identified a couple of things which can be worked upon, but we are still thinking, not me, but most of the folks in the world think that it is, somebody else's work. And that is not going to solve the problem. We need to have the control data set. Air City is very small. It's a very small data set. It's not going to solve the problem of Delhi. But can that be replicated in other parts of Delhi? That's the Delhi government needs to do. Unfortunately, the earlier government, I don't want to get into it, rather than the progress the report says for itself. Of course, in many ways, the education sector has been um, changed for good, but at the level of the just getting things done in terms of where how it should have been done, it is not done, and because of that not being done for so long has caused so much of menace in India, particularly in Delhi, in terms of whether it's water, which is the essential commodity. Water is not available to the houses. In best of the localities, whatever water is coming is basically. So what happened initially is, if you look into the data set, if you look into the government papers, you will be able to see that um, there's a lot happening around water itself. And of course, from the business point of view, yes, these companies which are selling water in a regulated manner, they have earned the profits, but that profit is not profiting enough in terms of saving the environment. That is one question the stakeholders need to answer. Since the central government and the state government are from the same party, they are doing whatever they can. But the level of implementation has to be improved, and it's not only the government. As a citizen of the country, of the nation, every citizen has to be, or they should be upgraded in a manner whereby this plastic pollution can be saved, or plastic pollution has to be obviated. Not saved is not the right word. We have to save a planet. That's the main question we are trying to answer. I mean, just see the weather condition of Delhi, see the weather condition of Mumbai. I mean, the nature has made its dictum. So dictum is a legal language, but what it means in very simple words is um, nature is the first line of defense. And when the nature is saying something, the food chain has to agree to that, we like it or not. So it's not regulated by Homo sapiens sapiens or the trees or the animals. The nature has already given this call. So the need of the hour is to combat plastic pollution, and few of the steps which I feel should be taken ASAP is to provide clean water in whatsoever way it may be, because when you're diverting the water pipes, I mean, one single alteration in the pipe structure is going to deviate the water into other directions. So that deviation should not be done, because the population of Delhi has increased tremendously over the years. And because of that, um, we talk about urbanization, but at the same point of time, at what cost? That's the question the stakeholders need to answer. That is point number one. Point number two is reuse, refill seems at the periphery seems to be a solution. But when we talk about water, what is the solution? I mean, for the longest time, particularly after 2020, I have been drinking packaged water because the particles in the household water is not drinkable. Even in some instances, in best of the places in Delhi, you are getting muddy water. So that's the question the stakeholders need to see. But at the same point of time, there's a concept in Delhi where we are saying that, there's wet waste, dry waste, but how many people in the city itself are doing that? Even the educated classes doing nothing. I mean, I've been trying to, instill this amongst the folk, but in vain. So that I've failed miserably in that. So failure is so fast that I don't consider it as a failure. However, what is important here is the government should be deploying uh, better measures whereby, why not just give people a little bit of incentive? Say, for example, just to separate this wet waste and dry waste and the plastic, this and that. If the government says if you do this, you get some credits, and based on those credits itself, you're getting some rebates, maybe at the level of I mean, electricity. It can be electricity, water. There are so many things for which we are giving taxes. That's point number one. Point number two is the people who own the land. So in Delhi we have this concept where people own the land, and people who are part of the commune, which is kind of a society, kind of a culture. However, in other countries, particularly, I have to take an example. I'll take the example of Geneva here. So in Geneva itself, or other countries, perhaps whole of Europe is like that only. You cannot park your car wherever you want. Now, most of the cars which are coming or which are being launched in India, or most of the cars which are there with people, you have these RFID tags and everything. So that parking ticket, I mean, the ownership is with the person who owns the land. So if a car is parked in front of that, there has to be some kind of, fiat currency which should be charged. You cannot park wherever you want. A very simple concept. It's not a concept. It's a reality in most of the countries. Um, you cannot park wherever you want. So that is going to solve a lot of problems. And another thing is why one household is having 3 to 4 cars. That's the government need to answer. Government has to make those measures ASAP. Just see what's happening in Delhi. I don't need to go to the news sector right now. In the news sector, you'll see so much is happening because just there are so many vehicles on road, whether it's two-wheeler, four-wheeler, and whatnot. So we need to find those. We need to find solution to those questions. And having an engineering bent of mind, I am sure that with the initiative of the current government, because the central and the state government are the same, so they will take and push all the measures which are the need of the hour, and particularly you need to, um, particularly in the Delhi sector, because Delhi is very well regulated in many ways. So in Delhi itself, if only X, Y, Z number or A to Z number, because again, everything is being coded. That's the problem statement. I don't know how will I find the solution, but one day perhaps I'll have the solution. We are still working on so many aspects, and of course, we are working with the best of the people in the world as far as the problem solving approach goes, or the regulations are being formed. Thank you for watching this out, and happy Ingenious Day 2025. So perhaps 1 year from now, I'm sure we would be in a better condition because damage is done. Now, to do damage reversal, it has to take a lot of mindset. A lot of mindset means a lot of good minds need to come together and solve this problem. No prayer can solve this problem because the damage was done by the Homo sapiens, and even the animals are now giving that signal in terms of whatever is happening in and out in India. So thank you for watching this out. Have a great, great, great Engineers Day.